Shalom. So I'm on the floor of my living room to talk to you guys about fecal microbiota transplants, aka FMT, aka poop pills. They're either use little capsules, like you are ingesting feces, but it doesn't taste like you're doing it because capsules, but they've found that they can be very helpful. I think they started being used in like a healthcare setting, like in hospitals, to counteract a disease called Clostridium difficile, which is what happens after like a bacteria, like an antibiotic dose that wipes out like the healthy bacteria in your gut. Because broad spectrum antibiotics can't target just like a specific bacteria. So Clostridium difficile is what happens when it doesn't just get rid of the bad bacteria, but it also gets rid of the good bacteria that, helps you digest, helps with protection, like you need them. And if you don't have them, then you'll get sick. And because what they found was they weren't able to find like any drug treatment that was doing a sufficient job of treating this. They found that the only way to treat this lack of bacteria was by putting more bacteria into your body, which sounds scary, but they found that that's what worked best. But they've found that these transplants are good for other things too, like mental and digestive disorders. So they found that in some cases of like Crohn's disease and irritable bowel syndrome, that transplanting the bacteria from a healthy patron into someone with the disease can help counteract, because the digestive bacteria are different. They're also starting to do studies and find a connection between the microbiota of people with autism and mental disorders are different than those that are healthy, which I think is really cool, that there's this connection between the bacteria in your digestive tract and what's going on here. So usually fecal transplants involve taking someone else's bacteria and putting them inside of a new host. But there is also a case I know of where, like in surgeries, like open stomach, open like cavity surgeries, where the bacteria can get exposed to like the air, and some bacteria need specific conditions to grow and survive. So being exposed to higher levels of oxygen and different temperatures can kill them off. So in order to counteract that, sometimes before procedures, the doctors will have you produce a stool sample, and then they'll clean it for you and put it in a little capsule. So after your procedure, after you're stitched up, you can just, repopulate your gut with your own little bacteria boys. So, but like, if it's someone else, it can't just be anyone, because their microbiota will be too different from yours. So the transplant, it'll be like when you get like a kidney transplant. If like the blood types don't match, like your body will reject it. Well, it's similar with bacteria transplants. That's why they usually go with someone that you live with or you're with a lot, like your parents, your family, or like a roommate, because chances are you eat similar things, you're in the same environment, so your microbiota are probably more similar than someone that you have no connection to. This isn't the first time that people have ingested someone else's feces. Like there's a man, I think he lives in Canada, but he would go to Africa and just kind of walk around barefoot until he finds tapeworms. And like he would, you know, ingest the tapeworms, and he was convinced that they'd help him. Like he felt healthier when he was on the worms, because he had Crohn's disease, which Crohn's disease is a digestive disorder. It makes you feel very sick, like it's harder to digest certain things. And he was finding that when he was on these worms, he wasn't having those problems, which makes a lot of sense. Because if you have a few feet of tapeworm in your body, you're not doing that digestion, someone else is. So like, obviously, he's not experiencing the symptoms of Crohn's disease, because it's not him that's eating the food, it's this worm. But so what he was doing was he would like mail out bags of his feces to people who would buy it, like as a diet pill, sort of. Like these like middle-aged moms would ingest this man's poop, and of course they would lose weight, because, you know, a lot of their food they're eating, they aren't getting those nutrients, so they aren't getting those calories. This is Archie, by the way. But it's just so gross. Because, like, they've started having, like, regulations where you can't mail things that came from your body without labeling that they, you know, did. Because that's a biohazard. Because you don't know what's in there, you know? But back to professionally made poop pills. Also, you can make a decent amount of money selling your poop, basically. Like, there are services where you can go in, create a stool sample, and they'll take it, they'll package it up, and then they'll use it to help people with these, like, diseases and disorders who need the help. Whether it's to, you know, lose weight, whether it's to help with digestive problems, mental problems, just, like, do the research. Like, they will pay you for your poop. Like, not everywhere, obviously. Like, you have to be close to these services. But, I mean, if you're strapped for cash, you can look into that. You can make a couple extra bucks. You know, donate your blood, donate your poop. It's a way to make money. And you are helping people. Like, that's the cool thing about, like, selling your feces, selling your blood. Like, it's going to help people. So, like, yeah, you get money, but you're also helping someone, and that rocks, and so does science.